Now I'm going to do the same thing with our main valve body. I'm going to slowly take it apart. I wish I knew or had a diagram of all the valves to tell you what the valves did, but I don't. I can't find one. So we're just going to go through and clean it all up. First I'm going to take the top one off, top plate. And I'll clean everything and set up my valve body tray. Well, comes off. Notice there's nothing there. Oh, look at all the mud, or all the buildup. Quite a bit. You wouldn't even known it, how clean this tranny was. No check balls or anything under that. I'm good. I'll clean the plate off. Now we can see there's a valve here and there's a plate here that looks like there's a valve underneath it. We'll take the plate off first. Oh, look, there's a hidden spring and check ball next to the valve, so we want to be careful with that. I'm going to leave that right up like that while I clean this. We'll take the spring, and the ball should be the easy one to come out because it should just roll right out. We'll take the spring out and the check ball. Keep these together. Clean them and put them on a tray. Now we'll get the other spring and the other valve out. Oh, fell right out. Clean that and put it in the tray. Now we have a valve. You see the little retainer here, spring and the valve. We'll get this one out. When you're cleaning these, always make sure, I can hear it loose. Always make sure you keep the spring and the retainer and the valve in the same positions when you put it in your, after you've cleaned it and put it in your valve body tray, so you know which one went in first. Oh, there it is. Okay. Look, it looks like you can get this backwards if you get the wrong way, but remember that the spring goes inside the little concave there. Clean this and put it away. I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to clean all the parts at once and then put it together. You can see that this plate is bolted to this bottom one. Oh, and look, it's bolted this direction too. It only has one on this side and it's got two on that side, so I'm going to take this side off first. Let's just take this little valve body off here. Anytime you're doing something you're not familiar with, be nice and slow. Make sure you don't drop check balls. Check everything out. I'll clean these and put them in the tray. You can see there's a valve in there. Looks like the one bolt or the one screw holds the retainer in for the valve. Sometimes they don't like to come out. That's an actual aluminum retainer. Oh, there it came. Clean that up and put it over there. And again, I'll wash this with everything else. I want to check for abnormal wear, really shiny spots. With these older ones, there's probably not a lot you can do except get a whole new valve body, but you're taking a risk no matter what. The way this thing was, it was pretty cherry. We should be okay with all the valve body. We shouldn't have any abnormal wear or anything like that. We've got two here on the plate and one on the valve body. Now remember, it's got two on this side. They're going to hold this plate to that. So we'll carefully turn that around. Looks like we'll do okay. I'm going to clean these up. I think I'll set this one off to the side here, and we'll do this other plate first. Take both of these out. Carefully see if there's any check balls underneath it. And there isn't any. I'll clean up the plate and the screws. Okay, now we'll look at it, and there's the manual valve. That's pretty easy to get out by itself. When I do this, I always start on one side. Since the manual valve came out this way, we'll start on this side. Now after the manual valve, we'll get this plate off. Be really careful. We're going to clean this plate up. I want to keep everything together. I'm going to put this and that there because the next one is this. I need to see if there's anything in the bottom of that. There doesn't appear to be. So I'll clean this. You always want to do this nice and slow so you don't lose anything. Especially with these older ones, you might not be able to find all the information you want to. Now if you look at these, have feet and a valve on the inside. So you want to keep these together. The feet will always go towards the outside because the fluid needs to be able to get behind this to push this valve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this and the springs and put it in my tray. There's two springs, one inside the other one. Then we'll get the valve out behind it. Looks like there's another valve in there, but I'm not sure if it's going to come out this direction or the other direction. Looks like it might come out the other direction. So we'll go on onto this one. Check the valve, make sure it looks like it's identical both ways. Take the spring. And looks like the valve's going to slide right out. Nice. We'll turn it around, we'll take the other plate off the other side. We'll clean the plate and the screws. Okay, one last valve. It wouldn't go through the other way, but as you can see, it just falls right out that direction. Okay, we'll get this clean. We'll set this over here, and I'll start on this valve body. On the main valve body, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The big one's probably the pressure regulator, I'm guessing. Looks like it doesn't really matter what side we take out. Start on this side. Again, take it nice and slow. You always want to take your time. You don't want anything to fly apart and not know where something goes. Quite a bit of pressure over there. That's why I'm holding my thumb on it. Okay. Clean the plate up and the screws. And it looks like that's the only thing in there. Now, a lot of the times people will just go right to this next one. Oh, we might be able to do that because that one's stuck there. If there is a valve here and this one's poking out more, don't jump. Always do an order and then put it back in your tray in order. You don't want to get them screwed up. Only got 2 on this side. Nice big long spring. Get it all cleaned up. Go to the other side now. Same thing. Take it nice and slow. Keep your thumb on it. You don't want it to shoot out. The springs go falling. You don't know which one goes where. Okay, clean this up. You can always see how these are coming out already, but this one's not. We should take this one out first and keep these two in. See if it comes right out. Look at that, fell right out. Oh, and there's no spring on this one. Next, we're going to take what I'm calling the pressure regulator, which is probably what it is. Looks like we got a, oh, looks like that'll come out the back side. Got aluminum sleeve and a valve. Hopefully it's not too worn out. Hey, nice and tight. We want to keep it the right direction though, so when I put it back in my valve tray, I'll have it the way it goes, so I don't get screwed up. Let's see what else is in there. Smaller valve, spring. Come on. She doesn't want to come out. Notice I'm holding my hand on that. I don't want that other valve to come out. Well, let's get these two pieces cleaned up. Sometimes on these, it might get a little burr on it, and it might be just to have, maybe not. Well, maybe. Well, I'm going to hurry and take this one and clean it and put it in the next tray, then we're going to get this other valve out. Alright, that's the only thing in there. We'll clean this up. Now I don't have to worry about this valve. We can get this other one out that's in there. It probably has a little bit of a ridge on it. From going back and forth, what we're going to do is slowly work it back and forth. Up, and it came right out. Didn't take much. Just had a little burr on there, and it brought it right out. Okay, I'll hurry and flat sand these. I'll get them cleaned up, then we'll put it back together. Before I forget, while we're doing the valve body, this is the governor for it. We'll get this apart too and clean this at the same time. Again, take your time. Don't go too fast. First, take this plate off the top. We'll clean that. And we'll take out the two big ones. What you want to do is sometimes, well, some of the later ones had screens in it. I don't see any screens here. You can see again, there's the feet, so fluid can get behind it. And there's two valves. Oh, there's a washer. See, there's a little washer between those two. And the valve. A little spring encapsulated on it. Probably just leave that alone. Don't want to screw with that. We'll get this cleaned up. We'll clean these really good, and then we'll get them together. All right, we'll get it back together now. Start with the with the governor. Put it back together just like you took it apart. Always check for wear marks. I mean, with something this old, it's hard to find replacement parts, so you're pretty much stuck with what you've got. You can use ATF, or this is a NIC's loop or valve protector. I always put a little. I'll never put your valves back in dry. I always put something. So we'll put everything back in. Drops in nice and neat. Now this one had that little washer, sleeve, and then it had an inner valve. Now if you look at it, you can see how the holes are. So you just want to match it up, because if you put it the wrong direction, see if I put it in this way, this top hole wouldn't have anything to go against. You got to make sure you put it in the right direction so the fluid is allowed to go through it. Oh, that needs to sit. There we go. Just like so. Get our long bolts in. Now, remember, no guns, no electric guns, no pneumatic guns, nothing. All by hand. Sucks, but you won't over tighten something. And see if there's a difference on the plate. There's no difference, so we'll just put our plate on with our 2 screws. That was dumb, wasn't it? Nice and free. Set that off to the side. If you see, I've got all my valve body stuff here. I've got everything separated. I did notice when I took this apart that right under here there was another flapper valve and a little retainer that I didn't notice that came out when I was blowing it off. I was lucky enough to see where it landed. You always keep an eye on stuff, and then you got to double check your stuff. I screwed up, so luckily I caught it, and we'll put it back together right. So we'll start with our main valve body here and put the valves in that I took out last. Again, I want to put a little bit of lube in it. I had this upside down, so I'll put this valve in. Always want to make sure the valves are free. This one that was kind of a stickler. As you can hear, well, maybe, there we go, nice and free. Spring. We have 2 valves. Remember, this came out. This was sitting in this direction with this cut up. With these lines up, you want to put it back in the same way. So this had a valve here. And spring and valve went in this side. Carefully install. With the lube I've got enough lube on my fingers that it's lubing the outside of this plunger. So we can get that in. Oh, that little valve came out of the end. Never, ever, ever force anything. Maybe we'll just set this in here. And right at the end, we'll stick this valve in and push it down. See, I did it again. Did it again. So we're going to have to get ready to put the plate right on. Keep that. And we've got this other one. Now remember, this didn't have a spring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down and set it up on its end. So it holds that valve in place. I'll put this valve in there. Get our retainer plate and see which one went where. Set that on and bolt it down. Tighten these as tight as I can by hand. Alright, that side's done. We'll go to the other side. Again, we want to put a little bit of lubricant, either ATF or the spray lube. Check all our valves, make sure they're nice and free every time you put one in. We're all good here. Again, I'm going to put this up at the end. And these only go on one way. They should only go on one way. There's that one just about done. This is the little valve that came out that I didn't notice. Right in like that. It's got this little retainer. And it was just sitting here like that. That's how it was sitting there. So we'll put it back like that, and we'll have to see if it needs to go down a little bit more. Don't remember it sticking up that far. We'll look at it before we put our plate on the top. But this part's done. And then we have this one. This one had 2 valves in it, so that's the last one. So I always do this in order, so you don't really get screwed up on which way things go. All right. Except when you're brain dead. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Again, lube. Always start from one end, go to the other. This one's quite stout with that, so we're going to go to this one. And spring inside the other one, make sure they don't get locked up. This will be fun to get all of these in at once. Okay, what I might do, and I've done this before, is this is going to go on like this. So what I'm going to probably do, start with this small one here. Push this one in. If I can get it. Uh-oh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this plate, kind of start it. Now I'll kind of hold that little place in there. I can drop this valve in where it's supposed to go, just like that. That's not going to work, is it? Oh, it might. Put this valve in, kind of rotate it around. And then we've got this last valve, the spring, went right here. Push that down and right into place, and it worked. Kind of easier than trying to hold all those in and try to put the plate on top of it. Utilize the plate you've got. Now that's where the manual valve goes. And remember, on the other side, there was one valve. Only goes in one way. This is smaller than the other side. Still has lube on it from when I sprayed it. Falls right into place. And we'll put this on this side. If we can get our hands to work. Last one. Second to last one. This was hiding behind there. I forgot about that little one. This valve, little loop in here. Like so. There's a big end of the small one. Oh, drop right down. You can hear it go clunk. And plug. Come on, baby. Now, what retains that in is this longer bolt when I bolted the valve body. Okay, nice and free. Just gonna set that right there so we know. Now the last valve body, which is the first one we took apart. Again, we're gonna lube it up. Start with this one. I really wish I could tell you which valves are which they go to, but I couldn't find any information on it, which really sucks. I've got an old Ford thing. Oh, look at that. My little Ford thing works. This is a spring valve body tool. I got a valve body kit years ago and I've never seen one since. So if you've got one, you're lucky. Now we'll put, remember this had a valve. Wow. Gotta hold your mouth just right. Wiggle it. Oh, just a little bit of wiggle went right in. Spring, and this one had a check ball and the spring. Oh. We have our plate. And 2 screws. now we can put the whole thing together. Now if you noticed, all right, see that? Needs to go down a little bit further because that plate needs to sit flush. And what we'll do is we'll get something to tap it down with it. Think about these. They have to go down straight. There we go. Just a little tap. That's probably why I didn't see it. It's snug enough that it's holding it in place, but you can still, it's still working properly. Now that it's lower, I'm going to put my plate on. We took this one off last time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the bolts. If I remember right, I can start all the bolts with screws, you know, and then snug them up once I got the whole thing together. So I'm going to leave them loose. I don't remember where that screw went. I left the screw. That screw right there. That one there, and there's one here. I'm not snugging these up. Only goes on one way. I'm just barely putting these down. Got to get everything all the way up. Down, kind of put it up like that so it holds it for me. Alright, now they're all down, they're not tight yet. I remember right that I screwed up when I took this apart. There's 4 bolts you could have left in here that doesn't hold it down to the case, that bolts the valve body together. Hopefully I can have a pin here. That's too big. Oh, that's not. See if I can get it to line where everything's aligned. Looks like it's just a little off. I want to make sure the bolts can go through. That looks good. So now You should have the other bolts in there that I took out, but since I screwed up, I don't have that. I got my little alignment pins here. Now, I'll tighten each screw as tight as I can by hand. Take these out. Tighten the other ones on the opposite side. Alright, and there you have it, the valve body done, and now we'll start doing the rest of it. See, we got our kit here. Everything's separated. We'll get these all opened. There's various different places that sell kits. I haven't found one better than the other. It's up to you what you want. I'm going to get these separated out. I'm going to get my clutches soaking. I've already got my bands in there. And then we'll start putting the drums together. Alright, as you can see, we got our Cruise-O-Matic drums here. The band's right on. We need to get these cleaned up. We got the rear planet, the rear band, and the rear clutch drum for the front band. We'll need to put this on the lathe, get them cleaned up, make them look new again. Sure it's dry, it's nice. Looking good. What you want to do is go back and forth, get kind of a cross cut on them. Very minimal, you'll need, but it does help. Alright, much better. We'll get this off of here. Alright, and we'll get the rear planet on and grab it right on the inside of that. Gotta be careful when you do this, you can take your fingers off, and you don't want to do that. Alright, we are all cleaned up here, we're looking good. We'll go back and continue getting it built. Got all my parts out here. They're all dry, clean, ready to go. I've already polished the drums. Probably saw me do that in the video. If you know me, I'm a stickler for replacing bushings. The bad thing about this, some of the bushings, or a lot of the bushings, you cannot get. So before you get overzealous and start cutting all your bushings out, you need to see what's available. Usually, you can always get the pump bushing and maybe a few of the other ones, but don't cut them out. See what's available before you do that. These are all pretty fairly well. I've had it where it's like, oh, this is worn, I need to change it. I cut it out and I can't get one. and I had to have one manufactured, which cost quite a bit of money. So a worn out one is better than none at all. So double check everything, see what's available, and then cut your bushings out. I'm going to put the pump bushing in, put the pump bushing together, or the pump together for you, and then get everything else done. We'll push the pump bushing out, the old one. There's a little mark there from somebody else doing something a long time ago. We'll I'll push our new one in. Let's push it down flush first. And counter it just a little bit, just a touch. Okay, we're looking good, not up too high there. And then we'll push our seal in. All right, perfect. Now put the pump together. Now to rebuild the pump, I've got it set up on this little ring here. Makes it easier. You can get this bushing. This is really good shape, so I'm not going to replace it. We want to put a little lube on the gears. And this one has a lip that goes into this right here. And then the outer gear. All right. And we'll put a little bit of ATF. And then put our stator through, like this. Now the thing what holds it together is the 4 bolt holes, or the bolts that come through the case and hold it to the case, but there is a screw I should have got out before I started. It's that one. And this is just to keep it all together. And again, I always make sure, I mean, there's not a lot of pressure you can do with that one little screw, but I always make sure it turns. And we'll double check it after we've gotten all bolted down. But there's the pump, pretty easy.